Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, esteemed people of the world. My name is Brother Franklin. My full names are Franklin Owino Odhiambo. They know me as Brother Franklin, which is good in the name of the Lord. I am from Kenya. I'm from Nairobi. I was formerly a professional dancer in my country. So the dancing I'm doing today, I'm doing in the name of the Lord. And I have a great testimony and testimonies upon testimonies to give concerning what the Lord has done in my life. My parents were well-off people. I was born in a good Christian family. But I was born against a background of witchcraft and sorcery and devil worshiping. I'm the eldest in a family of 7. I am a professional in terms of everything that I do. Only that I took the wrong course early in life. I was born with soccer talent. I played for my national team. I played in the league in my country. I've traveled countries playing. But at the end of it, it is the glory of God that counts in my life. I've been through accidents. I've been through diseases and sicknesses, to mention in a short while exactly what has happened in my life. But before that, I want to thank certain people who have stood by me. I have a special reference in mentioning a brother in Houston here called Brother Gideon. I have a pastor, very esteemed man of God called Pastor Yemi Ayodele of the Church of the Nations. I have also the pastor of the Dominion International Center, Pastor Wumi, and the husband. I really appreciate these people who stood by me. Pastor Christy Obeide, who has also prayed along with me, asking God for mercy for my life. And I ended up in the hands of one man of God who I'm currently under, who is my father in the Lord. I cannot fail to appreciate him. I really do appreciate him from the bottom of my heart. And this is Pastor Ade Okonrene, the shepherd of the Pavilion of Redemption, Redeemed Church of God in Houston, in Bissonnet, and the wife, Pastor Grace Okonrene, who have stood by me through thick and thin for the last 2 years, that my testimony really is based on. In Kenya, as I was playing soccer, I remember we had an accident. Our bus overturned with the whole team into a valley. You can imagine a bus overturning into a valley. I don't know how many times we rolled, but by the time the bus came to a standstill, I was the only one remaining on my seat. All the other 25 players, coach, team manager, driver and all, had disappeared under the seats. I was the first one to come out. I only had a bump on my head, which is there to this day. It never really went back fully. And I helped others out. And I knew that that trip, God had cancelled certain death in the parts of people because of my presence. I was aware of that, although I never told them. In 1991, I got a severe and debilitating attack of malaria, cerebral malaria. I can tell you the process of dying because now in retrospect, I know I died. It's only God who took my soul back to my body. Because I left my body in the bed in the hospital. The doctor had literally given up. He was an Asian doctor. My temperature was not improving. I was comatose for days. And what I saw is true. I left my body. I saw my body on the bed. There were friends calling me who had died before, calling me to play soccer. They were urging me on to join them. I fought. Some spirit in me fought it. And at the end of the ordeal, I woke up swearing on my bed. The sheets and the blanket were all covered with sweat. And I didn't know what had happened. I was a young man. So when my mother came, who was a very spiritual lady, I told her exactly what had happened. And she only cried, but she never told me anything. It was not long after that my daughter, I got a daughter under some of the most adverse circumstances in 1993. And of course, as all young men, or most young men, I'll say, fall into this trap of having a girlfriend, I made her pregnant. Being a true man of God, Although I was not born again, I decided I was not going to abandon what I knew I was responsible for. So I took responsibility. And I had to marry her posthumously. The mother died immediately she gave birth. She died on the spot. The baby never saw the mother, the baby never sucked the breast. And that child is alive today, 16 years later. She survived miraculously. She was thrown at the door without clothes, without anything. That child, nobody thought was going to survive. Her name is Happiness. And you can see why we call her Happiness. The following year, my father passed away under very controversial circumstances. He got sick suddenly after a trip back home. 6 months down the line, we were having his funeral. So 93, 94, my wife, my mother, both gone. Then my mother too started getting sick. And 6 years later, she too passed away. I suddenly turned from a dependent to a breadwinner because everybody depended on me. Everybody was looking up to me now. I was the only one working. But the Spirit of the Lord told a prophet to tell me that I'm going to travel. I didn't know where I was going to travel. I was just told, you are going to travel. You have a long journey ahead of you and you won't come back in a hurry. I didn't know what he was talking about. I didn't even care about God. I was spending 4 days of the week in the disco club. Yes, I was a star. Soccer star. Football star. Everywhere I went, the women were not in short supply. Yes, I was a first-class fornicator. Yes, certified, champion. I would have won a competition. Yes, I can tell you this. I'm not ashamed to say it because what I'm saying is shaming the devil right now. I was in the world, and for some reason, God did not allow my life to be cut short. There were several opportunities for the devil to take away my life. But he had a purpose and a reason, which I'm seeing today. As I was in Kenya, going through one brush with death after another, I personally started having the feeling that there's something special that God has. I'm special in some way. I didn't know what way, but I knew there was something unique about my relationship with God. Several other instances where God has literally taken me away from the hands of death. But when the day came for me to come to America, it was miraculous. After doing the second burial of my mother died in 2000. When I did her second burial in 2001, the man of God had told me the moment I do the memorial service, I should go to the embassy. I had gone to the embassy. Before that, they threw my papers, not even looking at me. They literally kicked me out of the embassy. No, they didn't want to see me there. The second time I went, after doing the memorial service for my mother, the following day I went to the embassy. I had no papers. The invitation letter had expired. I had nothing. I just walked in and said I wanted a visa. She looked at me and told me, you want to go to America? I said, yes. So will you go? If you go there, are you going to work? I told her, yes, I'm going to work. Even if I don't have papers, I'm going to work because I won't steal. I'll work honestly for my money. She gave me a visa. She stamped and told me to go. But unfortunately, they refused to give the visa to my daughter. So I had to leave her. And I came over to America, thinking I was going to go back in 3 months or so because I was on a visitor's visa. Here I am 9 years later. I didn't plan to stay in this country, but God had different reasons for it. I came, I went to school. My going to school is miraculous. My coming here, I didn't have any air. I had nothing, no dollar, not one. You know how impoverished an African can be. Poverty is real there. I had no way. I meet somebody who pays the air ticket full for me. I came on a British Airways, second class, relaxed, comfortable, and being called sir. And here I am today. I went to the University of Arkansas, paid fully for by a white man who I'd never met in my life. I started by being a soccer coach. I went to school, 4 years in this country, not paid $1. I got my certification in mathematics. I got my certification as a teacher. I'm currently a teacher, teaching mathematics at a high school here in Houston. Dancing is not my profession. Dancing is my way of praising the Lord.